Benjamin L. Crump is the principal of Ben Crump Law, a Washington, D.C.-based firm, and founder of the Ben Crump Social Justice Institute, headquartered at Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee. Overcoming very humble beginnings in rural North Carolina, Mr. Crump has quickly become one of the most recognizable and successful lawyers in America. He has provided legal representation and recovered millions of dollars for his clients in some of the most high-profile cases in the United States. In January 2006, Crump relentlessly pursued justice on behalf of the parents of Martin Lee Anderson, the 14-year-old who died the day after he was restrained, beaten, and suffocated at the Bay County Juvenile Boot Camp. This was the largest claims bill for an individual in a wrongful death case ever approved by the state of Florida. Crump recently achieved a very critical victory as lead attorney on what had been characterized as the landmark voters' rights case of this millennium, when 9 African-American women were arrested with guns drawn for alleged voter fraud in Madison, Florida. Crump again led the fight for justice as the lead attorney for the family of Trayvon Martin, who was killed by a neighborhood watch volunteer in Sanford, Florida. Crump's representation of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, led President Obama to call on U.S. Congress to pass legislation for police body camera videos. He served as the attorney for 12-year-old Tamir Rice in Cleveland, Ohio, Alicia Thomas in Los Angeles, California, Terrence Crutcher in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Antonio Zambrano Montes in Pasco, Washington, who were all killed by police, captured on video. He also sought justice for Janie Liggins and 9 other victims in the police rape case of 13 black women in Oklahoma City, and Robbie Tolan in the landmark U.S. Supreme Court case where a professional baseball player was shot in front of his house in a predominantly white neighborhood. Attorney Crump is a benefactor and mentor to many. As board chairman of the Legal Services of North Florida, Attorney Crump and his partner donated $1 million to the organization's capital campaign to ensure that poor people would continue to have quality legal representation and access to the courts. Mr. Crump was appointed the first board chairman of Florida's Big Bend Fair Housing Center Incorporated, a federal grant organization dedicated to the eradication of housing discrimination. Attorney Crump believes in fighting to preserve the justice that minorities have achieved throughout the civil rights era, and has served as the 73rd president of the National Bar Association, as general counsel to the Florida chapter of the NAACP, and as president of the National Civil Rights Trial Lawyers Association. He was the first African-American to serve as president of the Federal Bar Association for Florida's Northern District. He was named the National Trial Lawyers Top 100 Lawyers in America, Ebony Magazine Power 100 Most Influential African Americans, and the National Newspaper Publisher Association's Newsmaker of the Year, bestowed the SCLC Martin Luther King Servant Leadership Award, the NAACP Thurgood Marshall Award, and the National Civil Rights Museum Freedom Award. Crump is a life member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the NAACP, and the National Urban League. Over the years, Mr. Crump has dedicated his areas of practice in civil rights, employment law, personal injury, wrongful death cases, and class actions. Crump is executive producer of the groundbreaking documentary Woman in Motion, about Nichelle Nichols and the race to space. Nichols was among the first African-American actresses on TV and played Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek, the original series. He hosts the television series Evidence of Innocence, about wrongfully incarcerated individuals exonerated by DNA evidence, is host of the A&E documentary series Search for Justice, and is author of the book Open Season, an insightful account of deep racial injustice in America. Benjamin Crump is a committed family man, and he believes the value of his family is critical to his success. The measure of a man's life should be defined by the impact he made on the lives of his fellow human beings. What impact are you making? Benjamin L. Crump.